Chapter 2048. Superposition start. Then, one after another, thick and thin gun barrels and cannon barrels stretched out densely from the other dimensional space and aimed at the endless demon army camp below. There are too many of them. It is easier to deal with them with this kind of comprehensive firepower coverage. Zhang Yi said this calmly, and then swung his right hand downwards fiercely. Fire. Boom, 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 boom. Hundreds of thousands of guns and cannons emitted deafening noises at the same time, as if the most terrifying thunderstorm in summer had erupted above the camp of the Demon King's army. The deafening sound was accompanied by red and yellow flames all over the sky. After darkness comes light, and after light comes pain. Sharp rays of light rained down on the camp of the Demon King's army. Before the monsters could even react, their bodies were shot into sieves by bullets. Boom. Boom, boom. Cluster bombs exploded in the Demon King's army. After a cluster bomb split into dozens of small bombs, thousands of monsters were blown into flying pieces of meat in an instant. The Tomahawk missile hit a walled area directly. The moment it hit the ground, the earth was lifted up high like the surface of water, and the shock wave and the flames of the explosion swept across in an instant. Everything on several streets was blown to pieces. A large area of the Demon King's army camp was turned into ruins in an instant. It was unknown how many monsters were killed, and it was difficult to preserve their complete bodies. The experience bar above Zhang Yi's head was also growing at a constant rate. Although they are all low-level monsters, they will still be effective if their numbers increase. Zhang Yi's eyes gradually brightened. Compared to being outside, where you have to absorb alien energy and then transform it into your own power to become familiar with it, the experience rules of this world are simpler and more crude. As long as you kill enough monsters, the experience bar will continue to grow, and there will be no refractory period at all. Li Changyu's eyelids twitched as he watched from the side. Lao Zhang, you are so cruel. With just a wave of his hand, the gesture of that man conquering tens of thousands of demon army was indeed too shocking. Zhang Yi looked at him and smiled faintly. It's just SSO. How about it? Do you want to try it too? Li Changyu took a deep breath, then sighed and said, Forget it. His worst ability is group combat. At this time, the human army in the distance had already assembled and rushed towards the camp of the Demon King's army. When they were still dozens of kilometers away, they suddenly noticed something strange in the sky. Then, there was a burst of flames that shot up into the sky, dyeing the entire sky red. What's going on? Why is there such a big fire? The fire mage looked confused, because in his understanding, even forbidden spells could not produce such an effect. Could it be that the Demon King's army accidentally let the fire break out while they were cooking at night? Someone made this nonsensical remark. But apparently no one believed this. How could a fire really burn people? But how to explain that? General, there is something unusual happening in the Demon King's camp ahead. The scouts came to report the battle situation to General Owen and several great magicians. Owen held the horse's head and said, Hurry up and tell me. The scout said excitedly, The hero got ahead of us and single-handedly killed the Demon King's army. Then, he released super magic, covering the entire Demon King's army with one strike, causing heavy casualties to the Demon King's army. What? Everyone's jaw dropped, and a great magician almost fell off his wand to the ground. One person? Are you sure that you are the only one? The great magician opened his eyes wide and stared at the scout. His eyes were bloodshot. It seems impossible to accept this fact. The scout nodded. That's right, sir. In the army, there was a sound of people sucking in their breath. Is this still a human? This is a strength that only gods can possess. The magic that can destroy hundreds of Demon King's armies with one move, probably only the divine punishment sent down by God himself can achieve such a level. However, in their memories, the incidents of gods personally bringing down divine punishment have become distant legends. This time, they witnessed it with their own eyes. How could they not be excited? Owen took a deep breath, looked up to the sky and sighed. God bless my Helen kingdom. Gentlemen, charge at me and defeat the Demon King's army. He raised the sword in his hand and shouted, defeat the Demon King's army, and protect the peace of Helen country. It is my unshirkable duty, Owen. Today, I must fight to the death with the Demon King. Charge. Tentacular, do the same. Demon King, today it's either you or I. The same goes for me, Muchichi. Me too. The soldiers became brave and rushed to the front line one after another, fearing that if they were too late, all the Demon King's troops would be killed by Zhang Yi alone. When the time comes, we can fish out a few corpses, and that will be something we can brag about after our triumphant return. Zhang Yi's round of War King's full firepower coverage directly resulted in the Demon King's army losing more than 2/3 of its personnel. Wails and roars resounded across the earth. The remaining demon army finally realized that they were attacked by humans. Although they don't know what methods humans use, they must fight back. The monsters' instincts were aroused, and a large number of huge trolls rushed out of the camp holding judgment, and air cavalry riding magic birds flew into the sky. Roar. The roar was so loud that even the dragon cavalry were dispatched. They discovered Zhang Yi's existence and wanted to capture this strange human and get to the bottom of it. Among them, there are many top-notch strong ones, who are probably on the same level as Owen and the Great Mage. Their eyes were bloodshot, and the rage in their hearts was burning to the extreme, and it had to be extinguished with human blood. After launching the first round of attack, Zhang Yi had no intention of continuing to attack. Uncle Yu, it's okay. I'll leave the rest of the situation to you guys to handle. The remaining defeated soldiers were too scattered to withstand Zhang Yi's precise attacks, and he had no mood to waste time with these miscellaneous soldiers. Uncle Yu and Lu Karen emerged from the shadows. Bang! Uncle Yu's body landed on the top of a high mountain from the sky, and his semi-mechanical body was immediately fixed on the rock. His armor popped open, revealing dense bullet holes, and the barrels of shoulder cannons and laser cannons also popped out from his chest and shoulder armor. Lu Karen even drove the Snow Owl fighter jet directly into the sky. She quickly clicked on the screen with both hands. The Snowy Owl had a perfect view. From Lu Karen's perspective, the surroundings were almost completely transparent. Therefore, she can quickly lock onto every enemy. Those howling enemies rushing over could be dragon cavalry, demon bird cavalry, or other monsters in the flames. They all quickly turned into red dots on the Snowy Owl screen. Chapter 2049. You are the Demon King, right? It flickered unsteadily, and soon filled the entire screen. The number of monsters has been confirmed, 32, 47, 28. A devilish smile appeared on Lu Karen's lips, and then she directly pressed the launch button next to her. Uncle Yu and Lu Karen can share information, so both of them can get the locations of those monsters. Suddenly, ammunition from the Snow Owl mech and Uncle Yu's armor was released gorgeously, like fireworks. The ammunition streaked across the sky, leaving behind long, thin trails of white smoke and beautiful, flashing lights. And these dense ammunition fell towards the demon army, like the scythe of the god of death. Kill! The dragon knight roared in the air, holding the reins, holding a sharp blade, and kept charging. But the next moment, dozens of bullets whizzed towards them. Puff! 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 The sound was dull and swift, like a sudden downpour hitting a pile of flour. The flying dragon, which has the world's best body, has tough skin and flesh, but in front of the super high-speed bullet, it becomes as fragile as tofu. The scene was full of violent aesthetics. It actually split apart directly, without even having a chance to fall completely, and turned into minced meat in midair. It's a fight on a completely different level. A powerful demon king flew high into the sky. He had a pair of huge black bat wings on his back and emanated terrifying dark energy. Facing the huge white monster in the distance, he condensed a powerful energy cannon in his hands, ready to shoot it down with one blow. The Snow Owl sensed a strong energy reaction and immediately locked onto the position of the Demon King, enlarging it and presenting it in front of Lu Karen. Lu Karen just took a look, then reached out and touched his head nonchalantly. The next moment, a thick white barrel extended from the Snow Owl's arm, and a colorful energy railgun gushed out, instantly arriving in front of the Demon King. His skills were still in the preparation stage when he suddenly felt a powerful force coming in front of him. Before he could even scream, his body was hit hard. The energy railgun hit his body and landed on a distant mountain without losing momentum. Boom! The mountain didn't hold out for a moment before it collapsed, and a large amount of rocks rolled into the demon camp. The Demon King had already been blasted to pieces without leaving any trace. After such a large round of killing monsters, Luke Heron and Uncle Yu's strength also increased rapidly. The rules of this world are that you can gain experience simply by killing monsters. It is so convenient. When the human coalition forces rushed to the scene, all they saw was black scorched earth stretching for hundreds of miles. Millions of monsters were destroyed by the precise attacks of high-level warriors. Everyone who saw this scene had their eyes widened and couldn't say a word for a long time. The scene that Tion saw will remain in their minds forever and will be passed down through the generations. And where was Zhang Yichun at this time? Of course, he simply crossed the Demon King's army's defense line and headed straight for the Demon King's castle. The Demon King's castle is located on the edge of a cliff and is a huge black castle. The news from the front line has not yet reached here. When Zhang Yi arrived near the Demon King city, there was still a peaceful atmosphere. The ones guarding the Demon King city are cattle and horses, real cattle and horses, and some skeleton soldiers wearing armor, who were probably human soldiers in the past. Zhang Yi arrived above the Demon King city without any nonsense. Through a series of calculations in the past, he has already grasped the strength level of the Demon King. The monsters in front of the Demon King city gate saw an armored man flying in the sky who looked more like a demon than them, and they immediately started shouting, "Why are you flying so high? Come down." No monsters with the bloodline of the Demon King or the 4 heavenly kings can fly near the Demon King's castle. Do you have a flying license? Get down here now and follow me for investigation. You will be fined. Zhang Yi ignored these demon beasts. He simply opened his palm and pointed it at the huge Demon King's castle. The dark matter condensed, and a pitch-black dark matter sphere quickly enlarged in his palm. That terrifying power instantly made the monsters guarding the city shut their mouths. Star cannon. The black sphere gushed out forward and turned into a slender energy cannon, which instantly hit the castle of the Demon King's castle. The black light quickly dissipated and ended, but immediately, a huge black energy ball rose from the entire Demon King city, covering most of the Demon King city. Everything inside was completely devoured by the star-piercing cannon. Roar! An extremely angry roar came from the Demon King's castle. The wall was smashed violently, and a huge black creature flew out into the air. It was a giant black dragon with a pair of huge wings, over 100 meters long, and covered with cold scales that were difficult to be damaged by swords. This appearance actually looks a bit like Bai Longzi's real body. After seeing this scene, Zhang Yi suddenly realized something. No wonder in the legends of the other world, dragons are symbols of evil. When Mammon was sealed by the dragon clan, the resentment in his heart was manifested in his world. TSK. The devil appeared, looking at the man in black and red armor in front of him, his eyes filled with anger and fear. I don't know if people looking at the two of them would think that Zhang Yi was the devil. After all, his outfit was really eye-catching. There is no one as powerful as you in the Helen Kingdom. Who are you? Demon King Sanger growled. What did they give you to deal with me? I can offer you a higher price. Zhang Yi was stunned for a moment. Monsters can bargain? But come to think of it, the monsters in this world are also an intelligent race. Zhang Yi smiled faintly. Nothing, I just came here this time to borrow something from you. Sanger said with a fearful look on his face. What do you want to borrow? Zhang Yi said, your head. Sanger's pupils shrank suddenly, and then a terrifying force burst out from him. You're looking for death. Zhang Yi pulled out his sword and slashed it down from midair. Sanger, who was still roaring angrily, suddenly stopped talking, and a bright red crack suddenly appeared on the midline of his body. Puff! The huge body broke in two in the middle, blood spurted out, and fell to the ground. The Demon King Singer died in battle. After killing the Demon King Singer, Zhang Yi felt that the long experience bar on his head was growing rapidly. After he transformed a part of the energy source of breaking the sky, his ability index now directly increased to 36,000 points. Now that he has annihilated the entire Demon King's army, it has actually brought him another 1,500 points of profit. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.